Welcome, everybody, to Week 4 of the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Radio Network. We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. And, you know, ever since I started this podcast, people have been asking me for advice. You going to pick Cleveland or Indianapolis? Of course, I was smart, and I picked Indianapolis. Some people told me I was crazy. But the money I got in my pocket from MyBookie.ag, all right, will tell me that Oz Davis was wrong. I wasn't desperate. He was just wrong. Now, MyBookie has been in this business for years. The reputation is rock solid. They do 100% cash bonuses. So right off the bat, you're making money for doing nothing. They had the fastest payout. Seriously, just 2 business days. Trust me, I know, because I got paid off when I was right and Oz was wrong. So you know who's going to win, right? Lay down some cash and win big today with MyBookie.ag. You enter the promo code NFL Picks to get a 100% bonus. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. I am the big winner. Oz Davis was the big loser. Oz, how you doing?
I'm okay, but can I just want to say right off the top of the show that wouldn't it be great if somebody could just take these sons of bitches who are presidents and who are clearly underqualified for the job and fire them? Wouldn't that be great if somebody
Well, a lot of people think you're underqualified to pick football games after the last few weeks where you're now in last place 8 games behind. So if anybody knows about unqualified and being able to do stuff, it would be Oz Davis. You're just mad because you're a liberal and you lost the election.
I was quite stringent. On that Houston was going to cover that massive point spread. I do want to point that out. I was quite firm in that prediction.
Well, I would like to be real stringent, and you said Houston was going to be great this year, and they're like 1 and 2.
I won money at MyBookie.ag.
Hey, but your Rams beat the hell out of Matt Andruscavage, who we're bringing in next. He was tied for last with all 3 of you. Matt, your 49ers had another moral victory. You must be very proud.
No, not really. It was an entertaining game. Would have liked them to come out on top. You look for growth in certain areas, but in the end, 0-3 is 0-3.
Yeah, and they suck because they haven't won a game yet. Next up, Brian Schmidt, who was also tied for last. His Pittsburgh Steelers lost somehow to a team that threw for 100 yards, the Chicago Bears. How you doing tonight, Brian?
Well, technically, though, I was in second place because I still am up over everybody by anywhere from 4 games to 24 games. Oz.
Well, technically, though,
24.
technically last week, you were the biggest loser with your 2 compatriots.
No, technically, no, because I was in second place. It just
you were 8-8. You were tied with those 2. So 3 losers tied for second, which was last. And if you watch Talladega Nights, one of probably the cinema, I mean, it's up there with Gone with the Wind, Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last.
See, I'm gonna say I was in second place and just roll with it.
Well, I mean, you're probably proud of that. I think Matt's proud that he's in second. And, I mean, moral victories for you guys are a big deal. I mean, the bad thing is probably none of the 3 of you will ever win another week this year. But let's go ahead and go with the biggest takeaways. I would normally go first because I was the big winner, but I think I'm going to defer to the guys that lost because I kind of feel sorry for you guys. We live in a little crybaby world now. So, Oz, what was your big takeaway?
I was going to do more crybaby stuff.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I have a new least favorite player, which is Anthony Villanueva. He did a nice job, though, teaching us a very important lesson about the difference between making a statement and posing. See, when you make a statement, it's clear what you're trying to say. When you're posing, you're just doing something to get attention and to get all eyes on you, and maybe in this case to move some jerseys. Okay? So I'd like to thank him for making that that demonstration for us, but he is definitely my least favorite player in the NFL right now, and I thought there were some really exciting games this week as well.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you on Villanueva because, I mean, why wouldn't you just stick with your guns? You did that. Just go with it. I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody protesting anything, but, I mean, don't back down after you do it.
Right. That's the thing. It's just a pose. It's just he was just trying to get the attention. He was just trying to lap up the cameras for 5 minutes. And how do you coaches? I got 2 coaches on the show. How do you coaches like it that he admitted that he threw his team under the bus? How do you like him doing something against his team's wishes? Wasn't that great?
Well,
show
this is the thing. I mean, he's one of the better tackles in football now, so I wouldn't have a problem with it. Brian? I mean, it's not like you're going to cut the guy. What are you going to do? Pick up, Andre Smith or something to replace him? Sometimes you just got to deal with shit. Brian?
Yeah. I mean, the reason he did what he did in terms of kind of the way he handled it, I don't agree necessarily with how I think he should have just stuck with what he did and been happy with it. But, it is what it is. I think the whole thing is continually getting blown out of proportion on so many different levels right now. So, there's a great article today that Mike put up about this whole thing is just so absolutely easy to solve, and that's just go back to the way it was where the teams are in the locker room for the national anthem. It just takes away all the issues that are going on, and because it really is overtaking the enjoyment of everything, and the reasons for it are 100% accurate. I have no problem with anybody protesting, but now everything gets nitpicked to death, and it's just getting getting old. It's getting old, and I don't know why this is going to continue on the way it is, but it's just start not to enjoy football.
All right, so Matt, we're going to get your big takeaway. While you do, though, me and Brian are going to take a knee.
Awesome. I thought we finally saw some good football this weekend. I thought the first 2 weeks of the year were pretty lackluster. This week, I thought the quality was a little bit better. I thought we saw some really good games. We had the Eagles Giants game, which ended up being very good, decided by a field goal. The Lions Falcons game was a really good one. There were just a number of pretty good games, very fun to watch games. It wasn't like just bad football like we were seeing the first couple of weeks across the league. I think the Lions and the Falcons, surprisingly, I'm going to put the Lions in that category. They're going to be hard to beat this year, and if they can get any kind of ground game going consistently to take pressure off of Matthew Stafford. I know, Mike, you and I have talked a few times about quarterbacks over last year, and I thought he played at a good level. I was kind of having a hard time buying the whole playing at an MVP level before he got hurt, but the more I
know, because you mocked me last week when we talked about it.
Mocked you? Well, possibly. But
and it was just when we were talking to each other. Said, I'll show you how he treats me, guys.
Are you still on a knee, or did you stand up?
I'm on both knees now. You've totally lost me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But anyway, so Stafford is playing really well. I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation this year. And on the flip side of it, Atlanta is just finding ways to grind out difficult wins, and they just look really good as well.
Yeah, I like Minnesota, too, from what I saw, especially when they get their starting quarterback. I mean, they manhandled Tampa Bay, which I don't think any of us picked last week. So let's go ahead and let's go to the Week 4 games. We'll start off with Thursday night. Matt, we'll give it to you because I know you've been a Packer fan all your life living in Wisconsin as they host the Chicago Bears. The MyBookie.ag line is Green Bay -7. So who do you got in this game, Chicago at Green Bay, Matt?
Well, it's really hard to pick against Green Bay in this situation. I think being in Lambeau helps them.
Yeah, it gives them 3 official calls right there to give them an extra 10 points.
Yeah, that's pretty, as we saw in the Bengals game and as we saw in the Seahawks game, that's pretty regular, especially up there.
We see in every game.
That happens all the time, pretty much. But, the thing with the Bears is they're riding high on a lot of confidence. They have a good ground game. Jordan Howard is one of the better running backs right now, and they've got depth there. If they can just not turn the ball over, their defense is a little underrated as well. I wouldn't say this is a good football team, but this could be one of those trap games. The other problem is Green Bay's got a lot of injuries, coming off a short week, coming off a 90-degree, weather
overtime game.
Overtime. I mean, that could really gas you. I mean, I can tell you that watching my team playing 90 snaps against, and the defense playing against Seattle, that takes its toll when you have a short week. And so that could play into the Bears' favor. They don't really have anything to lose, whereas Green Bay, the pressure's on them to try to get this win. I think the Packers will win, but I am going to believe this is a close game. I think the Bears are going to make this pretty tough on Green Bay.
Yeah, I think the other thing that got me, you talk about the people taking a knee and everything, the Green Bay fans are completely against that. And what really impressed me was the way that even though, what was his name, the one who scored the first touchdown for him? He had taken a knee, but still, Green Bay Packer fans still loved him.
Oh, Hendricks.
Yeah, Hendricks
you're right.
took a knee. They're all mad. They boo him. And that's another thing, because, during 4 or 5 games, people booed the national anthem, basically. I know they're booing guys on a knee, but that's really disrespectful. Oz, Chicago at Green Bay. Green Bay's -7. So who you got to win the game, and what would you do with the points?
All right. Well, I think you guys are probably right that home field advantage is good for about 10 points, which is interesting because that means that the book believes that the Bears are actually 3 points better than the Packers right now.
No, we're just going with the officials' calls and the way they go. With
right, exactly. That's what I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm 100% down with that.
Well, everybody that doesn't live in Wisconsin's with us on that. But people who live in Wisconsin are so messed up in the head that it doesn't really matter, except for Matt.
Well, yeah, Matt lives in Wisconsin.
There's a few of us out here.
Yeah, there's three
Matt
of
lives
them
in Wisconsin, and he did saliently point out that, the running game in Chicago is good. Howard is good, and the run blocking is really good, too. A line coach like Mr. Schmidt should appreciate that. But, I guess I'll take the Packers to win the game outright. But, Bears +7, absolutely. Right now, absolutely take that 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the 7 just because of the simple fact that Chicago has no quarterback. They threw for 100 yards against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh's secondary is not the greatest in the world, but they're a lot better, I think, than Green Bay's. So,
but the Packers aren't running up the scoreboard.
But they've got Aaron Rodgers, and I just don't see how Chicago's going to score a lot of points unless it's all Jordan Howard. And at some point, they're just going to put 9 guys in a box and take that away. I'm going to go with Green Bay, too, again. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Green Bay. That Chicago game was such a weird game to watch. It was, I mean, in every facet of the word strange, it was absolutely strange. I think Green Bay just has too much. I think it'll be close in maybe a 8 to 12 point kind of thing, but I think Green Bay produce much. And it's like I said last week, when you have Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance in any game you play. And I think Aaron Rodgers will be the difference in this.
All right, the next game, we get the New Orleans Saints, -2.5 at the Miami Dolphins, who got pounded by the Jets, who picked that game. Who was desperate there, Oz? But right
You're
now,
the man, Mike. What can I say?
The way I look at this, you get Drew Brees against Jay Cutler. I don't care where they're playing. I don't care what the points are. You take Drew Brees. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I went way against New Orleans last week for all the right reasons, but they really kind of showed me something. And I think at any point when you have Drew Brees against Cutler, unless Drew Brees is only allowed to throw left-handed, and even then I may still go with him. So I think New Orleans is going to win this game.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I think this for New Orleans, I'm going to pick New Orleans to win the game. I'm concerned, if I'm New Orleans, I'm concerned that Miami's going to rise up a little bit after the humiliation against the Jets. I don't know how New Orleans slows Jay Ajayi down. I mean, they could. They didn't really get chewed up by Carolina, but ever since I had not really seen Carolina be real impressive this year. So it's not like they stopped a juggernaut. But the thing is the Saints defense is just not very good. But I think they can put up enough points to win. I'm thinking this is a close game, but I'm going to go Saints.
All right, Oz.
Yeah, this is my second most baffling line of the week. The line is Saints are 2.5 point favorites only. The Saints are pretty lame on defense. I think we all know that, but I mean, is their offense in Miami at all? I mean, I think, the Saints should win this by more than 2.5 points.
All right, the next game, the Carolina Panthers at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 9. I'm telling you this, I'm jumping on that 9 points right now because Cam Newton can't do anything. He hasn't done anything in a couple of years. I think he's one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the NFL, and I would start Derek Anderson over him. What do you think, Oz?
Wow, Derek, that's extreme. That's extreme.
Why is it extreme? Derek Anderson's a good quarterback.
I wasn't. That escalated quickly, as they say. I wasn't expecting you to get from point A to point B like that. All I was going to say is, look, for me, this game's simple, including the 8.5 points. The Panthers need a change at coach and or a change at quarterback, and the Patriots need neither. I'll take the Patriots minus the 8.5.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, New England's going to win this game. I don't know if Hightower's coming back, but even so, I don't think so. You watch him play. Yeah, I'm not sure when he's coming back, but they've got enough to win these kind of games, and being at home helps. And even if Brady, there was a point where Houston looked like they might steal it, but I mean Brady at 40 years old just dug deep and led a typical Brady drive and
made the perfect play.
Slowing down.
And made the perfect play on the fadeaway in the end zone, And
perfect throw.
Cooks is finally there. Cooks is finally looking like a proto Moss out there. It's great.
Right. So
all right, Brian, since I decided to interrupt Matt while he was picking, do you want to go with New England also?
Yeah, we're going to go with New England on this one.
All righty. Next game, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who last year...
What'd you take?
Huh? I started.
You got New England too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think
he's all over
in a row. I didn't mean to, but sometimes I just forget what I'm doing. Jacksonville Jaguars, favored by 3.5 at the New York Football Jets. Brian, who you got?
Well, seeing as how both of these teams last week pretty much brought the barrel for me to bend over at my house, yeah, it wasn't pleasant. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I really, it's sometimes it's kind of hard to go between you because they're so inconsistent. But I kind of like the Jacksonville team, and in this game, I think they will win this game.
All right, Oz.
Wow. I understand that my bookie.
Hey, did you happen to hear our college football pick-em show yet?
Me? No.
Oh, you ought to listen to it because I do an impersonation of you towards the end of it.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah. Well,
I believe that's the show I did that on, wasn't it, Schmidt?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was awesome. It was spot on, too, wasn't it?
It was good.
Because, Schmidt said something, I go, really?
It was good. It was really good.
Really?
for just a minute. For just a minute, I did really think that Oz was on the show. So.
Yeah, sure. I'm certain about that.
All right, have you picked this game?
Right. So, no, I haven't. Really? No, I haven't. Picked this game yet. I don't know. I don't want to bet on either of these two teams. I've got my theory on Blake Bortles now. After studying this guy and overrating him for 3 years now, I finally understand how it works. How it works is this. As long as he's got a big lead or he's way behind, Bortles is great. He's fantastic, right? It's just getting from 0 to nothing to a blowout. That's what you got to get to. But that doesn't help me from the start of this game. So what the hell? I'll take the Jets at home.
You're taking the Jets at home?
Really?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
All right, I've already done it, so it's not really funny anymore, Matt. Who you got?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
They've done it 2 weeks or 2 out of the last 3. I think it's more about their defense. They've got a pretty good defense, and the offense can do just enough in these kind of games. I don't like the Jets at all. I'll take Jacksonville.
All right. Well, last week I made hay with the Jets, and this week I'm going to make hay again because I'm taking Jacksonville, and Oz is going to be wrong on the Jets, and I'm going to make fun of him. The next game, so I've got the Jets. The next game, the Tennessee Titans, -1.5 points at Oz's Houston Texans. Oz, who you got?
Oh, Houston, absolutely. I know that after these first few games, we're going back and forth on Houston and Tennessee, and even to some extent Jacksonville and Indianapolis. We don't know how good they are, don't know how good they might. But I'll tell you this: I think that Houston and Tennessee are just about as good as one another. In other words, I think they're just about as equal level. They'll probably end up with the same record, and that tells me that Houston is just good enough to win this game at home. So yeah, I'm going to go Houston. I'm definitely going to take that +1.5.
All right, Brian.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. Houston, I don't know what it is about Houston. They just don't ever get me excited to pick them. Sometimes I have to pick them by.
Do you think maybe they need to start dressing a little more provocatively?
Well, you never know, but I'm more into the fact that I think that Tennessee is a pretty good football team, and I think Tennessee is a better team than Houston right now.
All right, Matt.
This to me is a toss-up game. Normally, I would be pretty much saying the same thing Brian would for this game. I like Tennessee a lot. I think they're definitely a team of the future. I think they're going to be an issue in the playoffs this year. But I think they're relatively close right now just because Deshaun Watson is playing well. I thought he played very well at New England last week. They have a ground attack, and their defense is really good. I'm going to take Houston in a very close game, but wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee won as well. But I'm going to go Houston.
All right, here's my take. Deshaun Watson played well. He played well on the road against New England, which, hear me out, I think is much easier to do than playing well at home at Tennessee after you've played well at New England. I think you get a lot more pressure. The other thing you have is Tennessee has a lot more film on him now than what New England had. I think you get a lot more tendencies out of it, and I think Tennessee's better. I think Tennessee's offensive line is maybe the best in the NFL. I think Houston gave up, 10 sacks the first week. Defensively, Houston's better. But then again, J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney aren't going to have a run there. And Marcus Mariota has already proven more than what Deshaun Watson has. So I'm going to go with Tennessee, and I'll give them my bookie 1.5 points. Next game, we get Brian's Pittsburgh Steelers favored by 3 at Baltimore. Brian?
Well, if last
remember,
week
you said no homer in this year, too.
Yeah, well, if last week would have gone a little different, I may be going with the Ravens. But clearly, I think that I hope, from a fan perspective, that last week was just a blip on the radar, and this is a game that Pittsburgh clearly needs to win. So I think Pittsburgh will come out and win this game.
All righty. Oz.
No, last week taught us that you can't take too many visiting favorites. I got burned on both Denver and Oakland doing that last week at mybookie.ag. I love these mybookie.ag references. So I'm going to take the Ravens. Plus, I'm still angry at Villanueva, so I'll take the Ravens to win outright. And I'll take them +3.
All right, Matt.
I like Pittsburgh in this game. I haven't been impressed with Baltimore all season so far. I don't think they're all that great. I mean, they're obviously well coached, but I just think they're just not the team that they were Pittsburgh needs to win this game. They have a better offense. I think they're good enough on defense to win this game, and I think they'll probably win a close one. I'll go Pittsburgh.
See, I look at it like this. I think Baltimore's a team that needs to win this game. They're tied for first, and this game's in Baltimore. I mean, they're going to play Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh later on in the year.
Yes.
I think they have a far superior coach in John Harbaugh. I think you got a little bit of other crap going on in Pittsburgh. You know they're going to have to deal with the Villanueva and the flag shit all week. The other thing is this. Chicago played bad. Or Pittsburgh played bad in Chicago, but Baltimore was god-awful against Jacksonville in England. That's a 44-7 game. They're embarrassed. They're going to come home, and I like their defensive line. I like their front seven. Defensively, Baltimore's really good. Pittsburgh has not impressed me offensively or defensively. Baltimore's offense is terrible, but the one thing that's constant between these two teams is Baltimore's defense. I mean, last week with Jacksonville, that stuff will happen when you can't get the other team's offense on the field or off the field. I think the Ravens come home, and I think the Ravens win this game. And I would I'll take the 3 points any day there. Now, I do think it'll be a close game, but I think the difference is Harbaugh over Tomlin. The next game is probably the greatest rivalry in the history of Western civilization, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. I think the last time this game meant anything was like 1989. But the Bengals are favored by 3. The Bengals suck. The Browns suck. I'm going to go with the Bengals because the Bengals do not have Deshaun Kaiser playing quarterback, and he sucks. And that's all I got to say about that. Matt?
I'm going to take the Bengals because they suck less than the Browns.
And they suck a lot less than the 49ers, and even you'll admit that since you had the 49ers ranked lower than the Bengals in the Grueling Truth power rankings.
Not by much, but I did, yes.
It was a lot. It was like 24 or 25 compared to like 30 or 29, but at least you know your team sucks. All right, Brian, what do you got? Cincinnati at Cleveland.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati. This is a hard game to pick for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is, well, they both looked awful.
In general, Brian, the AFC North looks awful.
Yeah, but you look at these two teams, and you at least in some ways you think to yourself, man, Cincinnati should be so much better. To me, this is a game where I'm going to take talent. I'm going to take Cincinnati to win this game. But you're right. I mean, right now, it is not a very good conference right now, and it's really going to come down to what team gets their crap together the quickest. Because
if any of them can, I still think 8 or 9 wins this division.
Yeah, I think it's going to get better.
I don't see how it can.
I think, legitimately, I think Pittsburgh is going to win 10 or 11, and I'm not completely ready to bury the Ravens yet, but right now it's not good.
Yeah, I'm burying them all because to me, I think Pittsburgh's quarterback looks old. And I don't think there's another quarterback there. And I don't think defensively they're that good. And they just look like every one of these teams plays with no passion at all. I mean, Cleveland probably is a more passionate team than the other 3 teams the way they play. They just don't have the talent the other 3 teams have. But, I mean, really, this division, somebody's going to win it, and that's all they're going to do because you're not going to go to Kansas City this year if you're Pittsburgh or Baltimore or Cincinnati or whoever and beat them in a away playoff game. And you're not going to do it in New England. I mean, hell, it's possible that 3 to 4 teams in the AFC South are better than anything in the AFC North right now.
Oh, we'll see how it plays out. It's still early yet.
Yeah,
I mean, Brian, you have to figure this in too. Look, if you're putting the Steelers at 10 or 11 wins, that means, guess what? They're going to go 6-0 against these 3 teams because they're not going to get many wins elsewhere, as evidenced by the loss to Chicago. I mean, none of these teams is going to get many wins outside of this division this year. It's starting to look like. Maybe early,
but you also have to think about every year in NFL, you see teams lose games they shouldn't lose. The difference is do you cut your losses at 1 or 2 games, or you're losing 5 or 6 of these? And so I think it's a little bit too early yet for a few of these teams. But overall, I'm disappointed in a lot of what I've seen. It's extremely disappointing watching these teams.
Brian, the thing that concerns me about every team in this division is the schedule they play. If you look at the schedule for the Steelers, they've got the Ravens in Baltimore. They got the Jaguars at home, which now looks like a hell of a game. They got to go to Kansas City. You got the Bengals. You go to Detroit. You go to Indianapolis, and they're going to have Andrew Luck. You got the Titans. You got the Packers. You're at Cincinnati. You got the Ravens. You got the Patriots. You got at Houston. I mean, there's not a breather in that schedule.
See, that's basically your division plus playoff teams.
Yeah, and I mean, when I look at that, I just think the majority of those teams are better than the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find out quick because, like I said, it's been very hard to watch a lot of these teams, especially in that division. It's been hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, anytime the Steelers are only averaging the low 20s with the offense they got, something wrong there. I still think it's coaching for the Steelers and the Bengals, but I could be wrong. But as Oz will tell you, very rarely. All right, Oz, who are you picking in this game?
I'll throw this in too. Hugh Jackson is now 2-23 as a head coach, and that's the guy running the Browns, quote unquote.
There's no way Hugh Jackson is 2-23 as a head coach.
I believe so.
There's no way. He's been the head coach for 2 years there. Plus, he went 8-8 in Oakland.
Okay. All right.
Maybe. So now you've been proven wrong by me. Go ahead and pick this game. Because we all know you're going to pick Cleveland.
I heard that one wrong. Yeah, I'm going to pick Cleveland because I don't really care about this game, and all you guys went for Cincinnati. But in my heart of hearts, I honestly believe this is going to be a tie.
All right, the next game. Well, I just ignored it. That even just was said or happened. It was so
okay.
stupid.
Did he say a
I'll
tie?
remind you of it next week.
Is that what I heard? A tie?
Yeah,
sure.
He said a tie.
Okay.
But
all right.
I'm taking Cleveland. For the record,
all right, the next game, which is a huge game in the NFC North, we get the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. There's no line yet on my bookie AG, I assume, because we don't know who's playing quarterback. Matt, you want to take the first shot at this one?
It's a tough game. I think even if Sam Bradford's there, it's a tough game. Hard to believe Case Keenum would be able to duplicate that performance. That was pretty impressive. I think he threw like 3 or 4 touchdowns against.
Well, it's not the first time he's played well.
Right.
He's had a few
but
games.
Even if Sam Bradford's there, very difficult game to pick. I want to go Detroit, but this is in Minnesota, you said?
Yeah.
Boy, that's tough because Minnesota's got a really good defense, and I think they could give Detroit a lot of problems. I'm going to go Detroit by a field goal, but, man, I could go either way on this one. I feel like I've said that 3 times. These are close games, but I'm going to go Detroit.
All right. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I just think in Minnesota they win this game. I think when they go back to Detroit, Detroit wins the game. But I'm going to go with the Vikings in the defense. Brian?
Well, I want to pick Detroit, but...
So do I, because, I like Detroit, and I like both teams because they get really cool uniforms.
Well, I like both teams. I like what I've seen. But I think in Minnesota, I'm going to take Minnesota in a close game. And I still feel like part of me is going to regret making that pick. But this is an on-defense one for me, so... I think I will go with Minnesota at home.
Ozzie Davis, what you got?
All right. Well, let me help you with that regret. I'll take Detroit. Sure, why not?
Oh, no, I got to change my pick.
No. You went Minnesota, didn't you? You went Minnesota, right?
No,
Detroit.
Matthew Andruscavage.
Oh, you picked Detroit? Oh, I'm sorry.
Detroit.
But I'm picking Detroit. I like the way Detroit's playing right now, and I can't seem to get a bead on Minnesota at all this year. So I'm just going to go against my gut, and I'm going to pick Detroit. Now, I just wanted to clear this up on Hugh because I've looked him up. He's actually 1-18 with Cleveland. He was 8-8 in his 1 year with the Raiders.
Yeah, so you're completely
Hugh Jackson is 9-26 lifetime. I apologize. I don't know how this factoid got so distorted.
You'll be reprimanded after the show.
Mind.
This is why I'm worried that you took the Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If you excuse me, I'm gonna light up another one now. Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys, on that note, we're going to go ahead and check out a word from our sponsor, mybookie.ag. We'll be back in a minute.
We'll get back to the podcast in just about a minute here, but first, football season is here, and if you're one of those fans of the NFL, the CFL, or college football who likes to make things interesting on game day, be sure to check out the offerings at mybookie.ag, a sponsor of the Grueling Truth Network. MyBookie reminds you that where you're betting is just as important as what you're betting on. MyBookie.ag offers the full range of point spreads, lines, odds, futures, proposition bets, and parlays on NFL, CFL, and FBS games that you'd find at any proper sportsbook online or off. They've also got the very trendy and exciting in-game live betting options as well. MyBookie offers all first-time players a 100% deposit bonus, thereby doubling your initial bankroll, and MyBookie accepts players from worldwide, including the US and Canada. MyBookie.ag offers 24-hour multilingual customer service and chat, plus a handy app for your mobile device. Best of all about MyBookie.ag, though, is the payout time. MyBookie promises payouts to your account within 2 business days of request. So the next time you're wagering on football, or baseball, or basketball, or soccer, or any major sport, really, check out MyBookie.ag, sponsor of the Grueling Truth. Use promo code CFBPICS or NFL Picks to get a 100% match bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code CFBPICKS or NFL PICKS. Thank you, and please always play responsibly.
Minute. All right, guys, we're back on Week 4, the NFL Grueling Truth NFL Pick'em Show with myself, Mike Goodpaster, Brian Schmidt, Matt Andruscavage, and, of course, Oz Davis. All right, Oz, since you...
Yes.
Since we've had a minute, I'm sure you're ready to go now since you've got done doing whatever you do in California with all your liberal...
Attitude adjustment has taken place.
Yeah. So we've got the L.A. Rams, who are in first place, battling the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. The Cowboys are favored by 7 on mybookie.ag. What's your take on this one, Oz?
Okay, I did not know that it was 7. That feels about right to me. I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons to be critical about the Cowboys' performance on Monday night, especially in the first half. But the truth is there are times when this team looks awesome. When they got everything running together, they look great. I mean, they've got quality players at almost every position. The Rams, nice and surprising this year, they've got quality players at some positions. We can kind of like see a future for these Rams now. But on this given Sunday, no, I have to go the Cowboys. They're just a better team. You know, I can't believe – I think they're learning ways to win right now, and I think this is not a game they're going to lose. Cowboys, and I'll take the Cowboys minus the 7. What the heck?
All right. Matt.
I think the Rams are going to give them trouble. I don't know why. I don't know if I could explain that exactly. But if they can protect Jared Goff, I think he's showing that he can find these receivers. If Sammy Watkins can play and get separation, he kind of looked like the player that Buffalo thought they were getting when they drafted him. And Robert Woods is a good player. Cooper Kupp is a good player. And Todd Gurley is hard to stop. So I think offensively, the Rams are going to give them trouble. Dallas, at times, like Oz said, they look awesome, and the other times they just look a little lackluster. I think that could keep the Rams in the game, but I think ultimately the Cowboys will put it together in the fourth quarter and probably win the game by a touchdown. But this might be a pretty good game.
All right, Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good game. I saw something, and Oz can probably answer this one. Last year, the Rams scored something like 268 points in three games. They've already come close to that. I saw something real quick, and that certainly says a lot about where they are. I just think that the Cowboys in the end are going to be a little bit too much, but I think it'll be a good game, and I think that this Rams team is slowly starting to improve. So, who knows? Last week was the week of upsets, so it could happen this week.
All right, I'm going to go with Dallas also. I just think Dallas is the better team, but I do think the Rams got a shot to win that division. Next up, we get the Buffalo Bills, surprisingly, 2-1, at the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are favored by 8. I'll start this off. I don't see how Buffalo can score enough points to stay with them. I'm going with the Falcons. Brian?
Yeah, Falcons. I really like this team, and I think the Falcons are definitely, and they're a fun team to watch. So the Falcons are going to win this one and put up a good bit of points.
All right, and of course, my best friend in the whole wide world, Oz Davis. Who you got? Buffalo at Atlanta.
I'm your best friend now. That's nice. No, the Falcons are going to win this game big. They're playing at home. They're playing on turf. I love the Falcons this year. I love them. I at this point, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to repeat. So, yeah, I like the Falcons in this game. I'll take them -8, sure.
All right, and my now new best friend, Matt Andruscavage. Who you got? Buffalo at Atlanta.
That didn't last long.
Yeah,
watch out, Matt.
In Buffalo, it might have been a little bit more interesting, but Atlanta, to me, just they've got so much firepower on the offense, but they just look like a disciplined team. They look like they're a team that can handle adversity, and that's going to bode well in a difficult game like this, because Buffalo's got a decent defense, and LaShawn McCoy is not the easiest guy to stop. And I think Atlanta's going to be able to. I think they're going to win like 31-13. It's like you said, Buffalo is going to have a hard time scoring points. Atlanta is just a machine right now, and they're at home. I think they're going to be just fine. They got this game.
All right, the next game, which I think is very interesting, and so's the point spread, Oz. Oz, we'll start with you. The San Diego Chargers are a 1-point favorite.
Sure is. Yep.
Over the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you like here?
Wow. This is my weird one. I do not get this. Now, look, last week, because I was going to back 2 West Coast teams going to the East, okay, I did my research. I go back to this every 2 or 3 years and look this up. Now, there was actually a really good study done by Football Outsiders, which showed that West Coast teams going east allow, they have 10% more penalties and 7% more turnovers. We saw both of those hurt the Broncos and the Raiders last week. Now, there is no study that shows this east to west advantage, okay? There's no study. The biorhythms and all that other stuff, the circadian rhythms, the stuff that you guys would make fun of me for talking about, don't seem to have an effect statistically on this game. So I don't get this point spread at all. Hell yes, I'll take the Eagles +1 at Los Angeles.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Davis. He is a very wise man on this pick. Matt?
Yeah, I don't see really how the Chargers win this game. I think they've got real problems all over the place. The Eagles, they look to me like a sure wild card type team. They got a good quarterback. The team is relatively good in all areas. I mean, the loss of Darren Sproles will hurt a little bit, but they got enough to win this game. Eagles will win.
All right, Brian.
Eagles.
So, do you want the Eagles?
You like
Eagles.
the Eagles?
Like the Eagles.
All right. So we'll all pick the Eagles. Next up, we've got, I guess God's little inside joke of an NFL football team, the 49ers, at the Arizona Cardinals. The Niners are so bad that the Cardinals are favored by 7. Matt, who do you like?
7?
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa,
and remember this, if you go to MyBookie and type in NFL picks, you'll get a 100% bonus for all the money you're going to make by picking the Cardinals. Okay, Matt.
Well, I'd like to say the Niners are going to put together a complete performance and win this game, but I really don't know. They've had 10 days rest.
I'll just admit it. They suck, Matt. I can admit my team sucks.
Yeah, I really can't argue with it. So,
Come on, just say it. The 49ers suck.
No, I don't think they completely suck. I just think they're just...
Oh, come on, Matt. You ranked them like 29th or 30th. They suck. The Bengals suck. I just said it.
Yeah, but the Cardinals suck.
0-3 does suck. Can't really argue with that.
No, the teams suck. If you are 0-3, you suck. Just say the 49ers suck.
I can't.
You can say it. The 40th, you've never said it.
Just free. It wouldn't be any fun, Mike. It's much more fun if I
girly.
Can't.
You can't even say a team sucks.
Don't back down.
Can't say it. Oh man. So I'm worried that this will be.
You can say that, right?
What I'm worried about is, Brian Hoyer's not playing well at all.
I'll say Brian Hoyer sucks.
But he played pretty good on Thursday last week in the second half. It wasn't a completely sucky performance.
Charles Manson opened the door for a lady one time.
Huh?
What?
No, I'm just saying. Everybody at one point did something nice, probably.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Even you, Mike?
Man. I'm afraid that I'm going to have... I'm afraid that there's going to be another moral victory where they'll look good in the second half and almost win. So I'll probably take Arizona in a close game here.
Because the Niners suck. Because if you're picking your team to lose to the freaking Arizona Cardinals and Carson Palmer, they suck. Brian?
I'm torn.
Brian, do you agree that the 49ers suck?
Yeah, they're
Why
not,
would you
they're
disagree?
Yeah, they're not exactly killing it right now. So.
Yeah, they suck, right? Oz, do the 49ers
All right, that's
suck?
it. I'm changing my pick. I'm taking the Niners. They can't take it.
There we go. All right. I hadn't even written it down yet. I knew I'd get you. All right,
you baited me into it.
We all pick up a game on Matt here.
Why not?
That was an official. There's no Zetnick call on this.
Palmer.
You picked the
You
Niners.
said Carson Palmer.
Yeah. You guys would kill to have Carson Palmer over that sucky quarterback.
No, I would not.
Brian, yeah, you would.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals in this, but this game will not be enjoyable to watch, so I will not watch it.
That's because both teams suck, right, Brian?
Both teams suck, yes.
All right, Oz.
Yes, both teams suck, and I think that's the vital point that you're missing here, Mike. Since Matt couldn't say it, I'm going to say it for him. They're going to put together a complete performance, and they're going to win this game. I'm picking the 49ers.
All right, so we pick up a game on both of them, Brian, because I'm not going to pick them shit.
I'm in the dust.
I'm going to go ahead and pick San Francisco also.
Yeah, see the Cardinals.
Really?
No, not really. I'm picking the Cardinals. Next game, the New York Football Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll start this off. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I think their defensive line will get to the Giants, get to Eli Manning. I think Manning's being beaten into being old from a bad offensive line. They can't run the ball. I think Tampa Bay's a young team that may still be a year away, but there's a lot of talent there, and they're at home. I'm going to go with the Bucs. Oz, what do you think? And the Bucs are favored by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with most of what Mike just said. I can't think of anything to disagree with, so that's why I said might. I'll take the Buccaneers minus the 3. The one stat I brought to this game is the Giants are just 3 of 8 in the red zone. They were just pitiful in the red zone in that last game, whereas last year they were over 50% in the red zone. So they're just not able to score. That offensive line is killing them everywhere, every time. And I believe that the Buccaneers have talent. So, yeah, Buccaneers -3, I'll take them.
All right, Brian.
Yep, I'm going to take the Bucs, even though every time, once in a while when I take the Bucs, they let me down. But I don't think they'll let me down this week.
All right, Matt, you're next. But I'm going to offer you an olive branch. That olive branch is this. If you right now say the 49ers suck, I'll let you switch your pick to Arizona in the other game.
It's a trap.
It's just you and Matt picking, or you and Oz picking the 49ers.
I will. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with the Niners to win this game, but I will tell you this: if they lose by more than if they lose by 2 touchdowns or more, I will say next week that they suck.
If they're 0-4, they do suck. It's official.
Well, there is no way to argue against that. That is true, but I will say that they suck.
But it's just going to make you look stupid if you don't say it when they're 0-4. I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats would beat him right now. Google that and see what kind of team that is.
I don't know about that.
All right, so Matt, Giants or Bucks?
Tampa Bay. I think the loss of
Really, I said Giants or Bucks, and you said Tampa Bay.
Is not Tampa Bay Bucks?
Well, I said, are you picking the Giants or the Bucks, and you said Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm picking Tampa Bay in this game. I think Levante David's loss will hurt their defense a little bit, but after being embarrassed in Minnesota, I think they're gonna light up the Giants. I don't think the Giants are very good at all.
All righty. I think they're good. They just don't have an offensive line or a running back. So the next game, very interesting. We had the Oakland Raiders who were exposed because Jack Del Rio is not a very good coach. At the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 2.5, Brian.
Man.
Yeah, but even with all that, I'm going to go with Oakland. I'm still not. Again, I'm not willing to give up on what looks like a decent team because of a blip on the radar early on. If it becomes a what do you call that, a consistent kind of thing, then we'll have to give up on it. But I think they're good enough to win this game.
All right, Matt.
Difficult game to pick, but I kind of agree with Brian. The Raiders have a better team. I think Trevor Siemian surprised us all a week ago, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that again. The thing about this game is Denver's at home. They are good at home, but neither team played well last week. I think Oakland's the team that's going to come out and find a way to win.
All right, I think Denver's defense is extremely good. I think Simeon's all right, and he's got some weapons. I'm going with Denver at home, Oz. What do you think?
Yeah, I think home is what makes the difference here. And plus, this guy, Mike Goodpaster, tells me that the Raiders are overrated. So I have to go. I think I have to go with the Broncos, probably minus the 2.5, because I can see them winning by 3 on a last-minute 57-yard field goal, let's say. I guess the only difficult thing about this game is it's hard to imagine either of these two teams losing 2 games in a row, but one of them's going to.
All righty, the next game, Indianapolis at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 13. I think we could probably all agree we're going to pick Seattle, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my question is to you, mybookie.ag, minus 13 points. The Seahawks are given that many. Would you take the points with the Colts here, or would you give the points?
If I have to make a bet on this game, I'm going to take the points with the Colts. Look, Seattle can shut down just about anybody. Well, I guess until last week. See, I don't even know where I am with the Seahawks. They have so much talent on paper. They have no offensive line. Everywhere else, they look pretty good, and yet they can't seem to score points. They can't seem to stop the weakest offensive attacks. whatnot. I mean, yeah, they're going to beat the Colts, but 14 points? No, 13 points? No way. They can't do that. Seahawks win by less than 2 touchdowns.
All right. Final game. This is a very interesting matchup, especially after last night now. We have the Washington Redskins at the Kansas City Chiefs. So we've got the politically incorrect bowl. Brian, who do you got? Redskins or Chiefs?
That's true.
And I'm going to take a knee while I watch this game because I'm upset about the treatment of the American Indian.
The whole game?
Get the whole game. Wow. I'm just going to sit on my ass in a chair, really. That's my protest. I protest everything that way. Literally everything. Even shit I support, I protest by sitting in my chair.
That is true. He does. He's got a pretty big indention in that chair because he's pretty much sat in it for.
Yeah, Schmidt, seen my chair before.
Yeah, and do not go and try to sit in his chair when he's not in it.
You can't. I'll kill you. I literally will.
I saw one of his kids do that, and I went back there a couple of days later, and all I kept hearing was screaming from a cage up in the attic. So
no, the cage was inside the chair.
Oh,
nice. Yeah, and it was gagging, not screaming, because I fart in that chair a lot, so there's a funky smell to it.
Well, that explains a lot. I almost forgot what game I was picking.
I don't know. Somehow some freaking Indians or something.
The politically incorrect bowl.
Politically incorrect bowl.
We will go with the Chiefs.
All righty. The Chiefs are favored by 7, Oz. Is that too many points to give in this game?
Nah, I really like the Chiefs a lot. I think that the coaches around the league still haven't figured out this team. And their young guys are great, and Alex Schmidt is, like, reborn. Yeah, I think they'll win by more than 7. I really like the Chiefs.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I like the Chiefs a lot in this game. I don't like the Redskins. I think the fact that they're 2-1 is a bit surprising. I don't see them winning getting even close in Kansas City.
All right. Well, I think Washington's going to win this game. I think Cousins can put some points on their defense. I think Washington wins. I think this. I think if you look at Kansas City and their roster, they're the team I doubt most. They've just got a really good coach. But I think Washington's hot. I think Cousins has the hot hand. I think Washington wins this game outright. And my bookie.ag, I'm going to jump on the Redskins and the 7, and the politically incorrect bowl will be an upset.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, you want to call me desperate again after last week?
That's not desperate.
Okay, but you do realize the Jets were a smaller.
And the 49ers.
The Jets were a smaller underdog than what this is here.
Than Washington?
Than 7. They were underdogs by 6.5. 7's more than 6.5.
The funny thing is at the time last week, you admitted that it was desperate.
No, I was.
And it's on the record.
Why would I be desperate? There's nothing on the record. You're so full of shit most of the time. It's unbelievable.
No, it's in the podcast. Most of the time.
It's in the podcast. It's in the podcast because you made a joke and said you were desperate. So you were being an asshole just because you knew in the end I was going to beat you. That's why you're in last place. You're 8 games behind Brian. 8 games. We've only been here 3 weeks. And Brian was 8-8 this week, and you're still 8 games behind him.
Yes, and
really?
Your point is?
That's a pretty big margin.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get everybody's final statement. We'll go with Oz last because he'll take the longest, and that way if Brian falls asleep, it'll be all right. Brian?
Glad the football's getting better. Would love to really see some of these teams improve. Mine being one of them, but see what happens.
Mr. Andruscavage.
Hoping for another week similar to this week, where we just saw at least 5 or 6 really good games. Just don't want to see like the week before where it was just bad.
Oz.
Texans, Eagles. That's all I have to say. And I'd like to quote the late, great comedian Rodney Dangerfield and just say, yeah, I got no respect, no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield never sounded gay when he said it, though.
Wow.
But
okay, Mike. Okay.
My final point is this.
Close out the show.
My final point is this. We see a lot of crap going on about a flag and who's standing for a flag and all this stuff here. My problem is America is supposed to be a free country. And if I'm going to tell you you got to stand for a flag or stand for a song, it's not free anymore. That's simple. People never died for a flag. They die for the ideal of freedom. You have a president who, when he had a chance to serve in the 1970s, decided he'd get 5 deferments because his daddy was rich. Well, he got those 5 deferments from his rich daddy. Thousands of poor people died because their daddy wasn't rich. So in the end, what you have is somebody who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, just never had to work a real day in his life, and now he's the president of the United States. And if they ever implemented a draft, or if you're going to war, a man that wasn't man enough himself to go to war on his own is going to make the decision whether we all have to go to war or not. I think that's a bigger problem than anything else going on. And I also know this. I have a lot of friends that are black that tell me stories about being pulled over by policemen, guns drawn, coming up to their car. I've never had that happen to me. I'm guessing Brian and Matt haven't either. I'm guessing Oz hasn't either. And I'm guessing if you're white and you're listening in, there's a good chance it's never happened to you either. So I think it's really hard to make a snap judgment about why somebody's protesting unless you've lived in that person's shoes before. And in closing, I would like to say this. This is a country that's turned into not being free. It's more about what's for me. And if I disagree with you, it doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me right. It just makes me different. And in the end, the thing that made this country different, or better than all other countries at one point in time, was the fact that you had the right to believe what you wanted and not suffer for it. Unfortunately, that's no longer true. But that's my closing thought. And I would like to remind everybody to check us out on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. Make sure you check us out wherever you find sports podcasts. You'll find The Grueling Truth. I want to remind everybody also to hit up mybookie.ag. Really, it is the best sports book you'll find. Me and Oz both play it all the time. We're trying to talk Brian and Matt into it, but we'll see if we can get him to do it. I mean, Oz does it, and Oz claims he makes money, but he's always last on this show.
Wow.
So that means that right now, Brian, you could be a rich man.
Not the last 3 weeks.
Well, last week I didn't do so well, but you know what? Like I said, I will be doing. I'm just kind of waiting, let the season get rolling. So.
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week with Josh Sneed, comedian from Comedy Central, who will be on to pick the shows. So I'm sure he'll pick on Oz too, like everybody else does. So make sure you come back and listen to it. And if any of you guys ever want to come on and pick on Oz, just send us an email at thegruelingtruth or at Grueling Truth on Twitter, and you can come make fun of Oz also.
I'm getting pimped out now.
We may even have a show like Super Bowl week where we go to the Super Bowl, and we're going to have a little booth, and people can come punch Oz in the nose for $1.
That's great.
The only person here that didn't laugh was Brian, because right now he just checked to see how many dollar bills he has.
Jeez.
Actually, no, I didn't. I have a big jar with quarters in it, and I started going, wow, I can actually take that over and put that in the machine and get dollar bills.
Maybe we could just let you throw the quarters at him.
That's what you guys do with your dollar bills?
Well, that would be great, man. See, Oz, you don't understand, though. Schmidt's kind of got a rag arm now that he's gotten older, so I don't even think he could hit you if he's more than a foot away.
Oh, hey, and if all else fails, I'll just call Jared and have him do it for me.
You would have to have another man finish your work for you. All right, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what we mafia guys do, you know.
Mafia guys? If you're a mafia guy, you don't an NFL team.
That's true. That's
a good point.
Okay, so go work on that during this week off until next week. On the team when you come back next week. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. So for Matt Andruscavage, Brian Schmidt, Oz Davis, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.